Well, good afternoon, folks. Today I want to take a look at an update, a reading update on Gabbie Hanna. In June 2021, I read for her and I asked questions that were about what can she do to have the best life possible, what can she do to make amends to the people that she's harmed, and that was all about idealistic scenarios. But when I was watching back over the video, I realized how much of her issues have continued to get worse. She has not chosen the very best that she can for her to live her best life. She hasn't made amends with the people that she's harmed, and I said in that June 2021 video that the chickens are coming home to roost, right? That's specifically something that I said more than once in that video. Karma is coming to call because it's kind of overdue. We are currently in a Saturn retrograde period. We'll be there, I believe, until later in October. So this is when the chickens are coming home to roost, so to speak. First of all, I want to do a Lenormand spread on what her trajectory is going to look like if she continues down this path that she is openly appearing to enjoy, right? Revel in. It doesn't seem like she's someone who's looking for too much help. And we'll take a look at a Celtic Cross later, and we'll let Spirit guide what kind of question, okay? But let's do a Grand Lenormand. This is kind of detailed and spread out, but it also reveals a lot of information. Okay, folks, I always look at the heart of the matter first, and right away I see that this is a choice that she cannot walk away from very easily. She is stuck in the harbor, if you will, of the choices that she has made. When I did a reading in June 2021, there was at least a little bit more potential then than there is now. She's kind of, quite literally, the chickens are coming home to roost, like I said in that video over a year ago. This is also about anything that's happening that's dramatic around her is going to quickly get out there, right? It's as if there's going to be messengers that just take it out there. That might be drama channels. These might be drama channels that specifically expose the drama that's been surrounding her celebrity status and around what she wants out of life in general. And I said in that previous video that she wants to be known as an artist, right? That's something that she's always dreamed of, and other people have said that they see her as her wanting to be the damaged artist because somehow that might give her a bit of interest that wouldn't be there otherwise, because they're like, artists are a dime a dozen. But I'd also think that damaged artists are a dime a dozen. Maybe she thinks that her brand of damaged is the best kind of, I don't know, dude. But there's something to do with what she wants that people are going to expose regularly from now on. What she's experiencing right now in terms of people leaving her alone in a dark moment, that's part of the karma that is kind of spilling out from what she's done to other creators. I'm sure that you can think of all kinds of different names. That's the heart of the situation. This is going to be drama that's going to be here to stay for a long time. It's severe. And people are going to be talking about her choices. They are going to be documenting. They're going to be writing articles. They're going to be documentaries in the future about the spiral that she has gone through. I'm asking about where she's going to end up in the future, and this is kind of where it starts, like past going into the future. And this is more of her present situation right now. Yeah, absolutely. Her choices, like I said in that other video, that she was making some really risky choices and that she couldn't see her way forward. Like now I can see that she couldn't see her way forward really clearly. I don't think that she saw the risks that she was taking when she was making these choices to talk about people, to basically not just talk about people, to shit all over people like crazy, dude. That there's some blowback to that, and there's also some other like really damaging things that she's said to people who've been in like deeply hurtful situations that she's connected to, right? I'm specifically thinking of Jessie Smiles, okay? This is something that this is a pattern of destruction that she's just repeated over and over before. She continues to make choices because she thinks that they're the right choices. Her brain is giving her bad information, and that's where the destruction's coming from. It may, I'll need to look back at the video, but I seem to remember bear coming up in one of the Lenormand spreads. I'll need to go back and post and see if that's actually true. But this is something that she can't get away from. This might be a family thing. Kind of like a genetic predisposition to passing down this kind of anal retentiveness, if you will, and specifically being oriented towards destruction. That being like the dominant theme of people's lives. I can see that she was completely naive to how her need for dominance was going to play out throughout everything, throughout her entire social network. That means YouTube, that's her family, that's her friends, the people that she's dated. She had no idea how being kind of a type A personality, being so hyper controlling, was going to influence the direction that she's gone. But yet that's where stuff starts. Well before she got onto Vine and before she migrated over to YouTube and all that kind of stuff, she was this person who needed utter, complete control over everything and everybody in her life. And it just never got better. It continually got worse when it came to money. Money, for whatever reason, really, really triggers this particular destructive angle and this need for control here. And this is something that's actually going to be exposed. This cycle. Like, people are going to dig into her past, see how she was just interesting. Either these are the dudes that she's dominated, like that she's abused, right? She just released an album, Trauma Queen, and I listened to it through another YouTuber, I think Brad Tasted Music, I think. He listened to it, and it really showed how deeply Gabbie values being able to abuse men, other people in her life. If you look at the lyrics that she sings, it's screwed up. And I see that being heavily exposed in the future. This could be a marriage contract, but in this case, it isn't. It's a cycle of text messages that she's been sending to a series of boyfriends, significant others. I said text messages. They can be other kinds of texts as well. But this is going to come to light, specifically how deeply abusive she is to men. And I think it's interesting that her romantic others appear not just in this row, in alignment with her, but also in her cards of fate. She's going to come up against a deeply abusive dude that she's going to have a family with. I'm going to continue to reference the previous reading when I did that other reading, I saw that she was extremely, deeply jealous of other people's relationships to the point that she would sabotage other people's otherwise happy relationships. And I see that being part of her karma in the future. She is going to get the family that she always wanted, but it's going to be with a male hellion, basically. Someone who's a nightmare for her to deal with. And this, I'm getting that religious angle, and I talked about that in that previous video too. She has a religious angle about this that she's using to target people, and it's blowing back in a major way and will continue to do so in the future. She talks about being in connection with God. God is angry with her God at least. The deity that she worships and is in connection with is deeply angry with her because she's fucking up tremendously. She's manifesting things. She's calling things down that only bring about punishment, right? I don't know if she's a pagan, if she's a Christian, if she's a Buddhist or whatever, but whatever she's manifesting with her words and her prayers is all boomeranging back onto her in spades and over years. Like, she's done years of damage, and so she's going to have decades of stuff of karmic retribution on her, specifically through the family that she always wanted. We are going to hear about how abusive she is. We are going to hear all about how awful her relationship with this individual, this male hellion, is. She is going to have kids, at least one kid with this individual. And for the people who are wondering when this individual is going to come into her life, sometime in the near future, somebody's going to be attracted to her hot messedness and is going to see an opportunity and is going to take advantage of it. Next year, next 2 years or so, maybe 3. We're going to hear about this, and it's going to open up an incredible amount of distraction that we're all going to hear about. So it's going to, they're going to bring out the worst in each other. When they meet up, she's going to feel like she's acting out the damaged artist lifestyle, that she's got the struggle-love relationship, right? And she's going to think that it's just part of the whole damaged artist motif, the whole theme, and she's going to love it. She's not going to get away from it. And if people try to get her away from it, she's going to say that she loves it. It's just part of my mental illness. It's just part of our relationship. We're damaged people. This is who we are. Take it or leave it. You don't have to watch, basically. She's going to continue to jump across platforms. She does know how to keep an audience going. She does know how to bring in new audience members. It's interesting that she's jumped from Vine to YouTube, and now that she's so heavily on TikTok, right? She'll continue to jump from platform to platform. She's never going to be able to get away from the lies that she's told on other people. These are part of her cards of fate. For the rest of her life, basically until she jumps off the internet and just vanishes, right? This is going to follow her. She's always going to be talking about the bullies and how everybody hates her and wants to destroy her. She is 100% bringing this on herself. It's the boomerang effect. She doesn't know what she wants. She says that she does, but she doesn't know what she wants. She follows her feelings, and sometimes her feelings lead her into awful places, especially when the universe guides her feelings into those places so that it can exact karmic retribution. Now, we were talking about faith earlier, and I do note that her cross not just appears in the future, it appears in some influences that are going to play a role in how things shape up in terms of actions, in terms of events that happen. I'm seeing a religious education. Okay. Well, the public is going to expose her secrets. They're going to expose the gambles that she takes. There may be some things that she says specifically that have the potential to cause a lot of damage with the people who aren't that aware. Like, she says some things as the damaged artist that people say, oh my God, like there will be a few people who say she sees the light when in fact she doesn't. And these are her future cards. This is going to be incredibly isolating. This is not sex at all. This is about establishing a kind of brand of, this is as if she doesn't get treated for her bipolar disorder ever at all. She just lets it run rampant. It's like this dude kind of takes advantage of that, but then she uses that taking advantage of and her mental health going crazy as part of her whole damaged artist motif. And then she brings in faith alongside it. It's going to be her brand of religiosity that goes along with her mental illness. It's going to completely silo her. It's going to cause her to spiral away from people. This is like leading her into her death, whether of natural causes, whether that's being on, like, leaving YouTube, for instance. Yeah, that is not actual physical death. This is her leaving platforms altogether. It's like she becomes a hermit completely. Like, she cuts herself off from the world, and I can already see some kinds of elements already with what she does. Like, she was in all those couple of hundred TikTok videos when she was going through her hypermanic phase. I saw how isolated she was, and it's only going to get worse. It's like it just ends things for her. She becomes a complete hermit and really only goes out. Like, she might just have groceries delivered. She might have, like, doctors come to her house. Like, she might become a complete shut-in by the time this is all finished. I see her selfishness, her need, her narcissism specifically. Now this is often about selfishness and also be about survivalist, but in this case, this is about being a narcissist. She loves herself first. And I believe that there is a flower called Narcissus. I'll need to, like, make sure that I'm not leading you astray there. But this, I see going forward, this is the influence going forward. She loves herself first and foremost, the narcissistic, the unhealthy kind of way, and it's going to dramatically lead her into this future where things get much worse. She wants to be alone. She wants to be isolated, away from people, where she can have what she wants. Get her way at all times. If you love me, you'll isolate yourself with me. I'll bet that's what she's going to say to the person that she ends up with. She may say this with her kids. I get that she is going to have, like, one, maybe, possibly two kids, but that's very much up in the air. But she's going to ask them, if you love me, you're going to stay in my hidey hole with me. You're going to stay up here in my tower with me, And if you leave me, you betray me. Public's going to see, they're going to have enough, right? Her YouTube audience is going to see how her choice has played out, and they're going to say, I've had enough. And also, her getting away from the internet, that is just going to end her relationship, her connection to them altogether. But even then, she's not going to be able to get away from this choice. Her choices in how she's treated people. That's going to follow her even into her isolation, her hermit stage. She has some other things up her sleeve in the future that are gradually going to be born out of her mental illness. She's going to have some really interesting things that she wants to do with her celebrity status right before this is it gets worse before it gets better. So she might try to really amp things up before things completely shut down. It's like a last cash grab. So on her end, on the back end, it's going to be a last cash grab. On the front end, it's going to look like I have this, it looks like she's going to be working really, really hard to get her name out there, to get clicks, to get clout, that kind of thing. And it's going to be religiously motivated. But that's also where it ends. It's like people have had enough. It's like she gets banned. It's like people shut her down, and that's enough. It was like that. This is her last stand, and people are just have had enough with her. But even so, she gets to live out all her issues. Her drama is going to attract this dude. Opposites attract in some cases, but in this case, both of these people are heavily dramatic people, and they're going to attract each other. They're going to make a choice to spin the wheel. Let's see what happens with this chick. I'm sorry, let's see what happens with this bitch is what I heard. Not chick. Goodness. It's like these people don't like each other, but they can't resist being around each other. And that's that karmic pull of the universe. If the universe wants to punish you with a partner that you just cannot get away from, there's a lesson to be learned in that. So this is going to be lessons learned for the people around them, but for these two karmics, this is going to be their just desserts. This is going to be retribution from the universe. Spirit says that's enough, no more. I'm going to pause this. We're going to clean up, and we're going to take a look at a Celtic Cross on Gabbie, Hanna. So I was talking to Spirit about what kind of spread, and originally I said Celtic Cross, but I think I want to return. Spirit has encouraged me to return to my roots and do the 3 cards, rows of 3 cards, so let's do that really quickly. We got the 9 of Pentacles, and that's about her being an incredibly wealthy individual. She has everything that she needs to get better. First and foremost, not just in the physical realm, but in the spiritual realm. Emotionally and mentally speaking, she has all the support that she could ever need. She's not taking advantage of it, though. Yeah, dude, this is a wealthy individual who has used their... Let's do that instead. Who has used their... Wasted, I should say. Not used at all. Wasted their resources for stuff that makes her feel good, but doesn't necessarily... Oh, Spirit says reverse. And now she can't do. This is interesting. This is also about creativity. An artist loves to see this in the upright position because it's about seeing new ideas, new projects being coming to fruition, right? Like finally being able to move forward and stuff. This is projects that Like, she doesn't get to fully express herself. Like, people misunderstand the artistic projects that she puts out, like music or her poetry or whatever. It's like people misunderstand this stuff because the universe is not blessing this, is cursing her work, in fact. She could have all the blessings in the world, like she should be, but she's abused all these things, and so the universe isn't going to bless a wealthy individual who's been given so much. You know, like, it came out originally upright, but Spirit indicated that it'd be turned upside down on purpose. She's wasted her gifts. These could have been used to lead people, younger people, and I said in that June 2021 video, she could have been a role model to people. Hey, look at what I did. Don't do what I did. But she's gotten worse. She's doubled down. She's gotten considerably worse. Now, this is landing on the Queen of Swords. This is about being someone who has their mental faculties in place, who keeps people out. And she is absolutely somebody who kind of bars entry. In the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith version, the sword is considerably bigger than the Queen of Swords, and it's that way for a reason, to let the audience know that this is not a queen that you should fuck with, that she knows how to use it, that she's strong enough to hold it upright. That would be an incredibly heavy sword. She's carrying an incredibly heavy burden. She's keeping people out, and I can see that much. And it's part of this, very defensive, guarded, except against that one individual that she's going to be marrying and having a family with, who's going to be her match, basically. She could be this person. This is what she squandered. She could have been the experienced individual who's been through all kinds of shit. She could have been truly 100% control of herself, her spirituality, her creativity, and all that kind of stuff. This is not what's happening, but I think it's interesting that the universe is displaying the stuff that she could have had. She could have been someone to look up to in a couple of different respects. People would have, asked her for advice on how to keep nasty folks at bay. But she's the nasty person instead. And the universe isn't going to bless that. Missed an opportunity, and now she's juggling energies. She may have plenty of money, and this can be about money, but this is also about earthly energies. She's out of balance. It's a work in progress. She's always having to keep her mental health in balance. She's missed a huge opportunity. Or you know what? She took the wrong opportunity from the universe a while back. And it's like this is costing her a ridiculous amount of not just money, but just energy, emotional energy. And I remember her saying how exhausting it is to have all these wellness checks come her way. This is part of that punishment. This is part of that karmic retribution. We'll put that down. Yeah, I talked about being heavily burdened here. This is a burden that she can't let go of. The universe isn't going to allow it. She's being caught for the choice that she made. In this case, it's, I said earlier, the end of her career online, and I see that happening here. She took a wrong turn a while back, and decades in the future, it's going to cost her dearly. Again, this is who she should have been, the Emperor. A rule setter for her own universe, for her creativity. She thought she could get away with this because she thinks of herself as a special individual. So this card is the opposite of this card, and this is in reverse. She's never going to be able to receive the wonderful blessings that she should have had as this Nine of Pentacles energy, that she should have had as this Emperor and Queen of Swords energy. She may have some air energy in her chart, and that's what's coming forward when it comes to her partnership with being a rule setter, someone who should have been someone who did some neat stuff when it came to poetry and music. She could have been somebody. She had the potential to be somebody who got a lot of good attention. She could have gotten like real record deals. She could have been on TV. Those things could have been in store for her. She's pissed everybody off. You know, like, it's been a minute, but I seem to remember her being on a show with Perez Hilton, of all people, and she came out from the back yelling at them, criticizing them, didn't even sit down or anything like that, and people were just like staring at her like, what the hell? Like, it was just shocking. That would have been like a moment where she could have networked and gotten her foot in the door, so to speak. She's never going to get to that point again. She's going to strive and work. It's going to be this Sisyphus kind of moment, always pushing this boulder up a hill that she's going to be condemned to see roll down every time. And it's going to throw her completely for a loop. King of Cups in reverse, in contrast with the Emperor upright. Incredible. Like, she's never going to be in control of her emotions. Her emotions will always be in control of her. I'm getting like a dog with a tail that wags so vigorously that the dog shakes, right? It's going to be like that with her and her emotions. Her emotions are always going to be her driving force. She's never going to reach this ideal which the universe would have loved to have seen for her. Universe says that's enough. Gabbie Hanna has a lot of really, really awful stuff coming down the pipeline now and well into the future until she leaves the internet and she completely hermetizes herself and whoever's willing to be hermetized with her. Y'all have a good day, okay?